Well, it's Tuesday morning, March 31st, in the year of our Lord 33. And so much has happened already on Sunday and Monday, it's likely that the disciples and everybody else is wondering what Jesus is going to do now. On Sunday, he rode into the city with people lauding him as king, and on Monday, he cleansed the temple by driving out the money changers. So what is Jesus going to do today? Well, the tension between Jesus and the religious establishment only grows today as he goes back to the temple, but before that, Jesus teaches his disciples a lesson on faith. You see, as the morning begins, the disciples point out the fig tree that Jesus cursed the day before, and how it had completely withered. They're astonished by this, but Jesus takes it as an opportunity to teach them the power of praying with undoubting faith. He also caps off this lesson by reminding them of their need to forgive others. See, failing to forgive could be a bigger obstacle to answered prayer than the mountain that Jesus just said could be moved into the sea with the prayer of faith. We should step back and consider whether our own prayers are hindered because we're unwilling to forgive other people while we enjoy the complete forgiveness offered through Jesus' work on the cross just a couple days later. Well, as Jesus and his disciples approach the Temple Mount, crowds gather to hear him teach, and the religious leaders who have had enough of Jesus already begin immediately to try to trap Jesus so that they have a reason to take him out. Well, their first trap is to ask him by whose authority he had done what he did yesterday, specifically to cleanse the temple. Well, Jesus doesn't take the bait, and instead, he asks them another question that they're afraid to answer. And so he tells them three stories that all illustrate how they are rejecting grace for their own self-righteousness. Now, next, the Pharisees and the Herodians try to trap him by asking him if it's lawful to pay taxes to Caesar. But once again, Jesus evades their trap and he answers the question as it should be answered. Well, after that, the Sadducees try to trip Jesus up with a question about the resurrection. But Jesus exposes that they don't understand the scriptures with an answer, and they walk away dumbfounded. Finally, the Pharisees send an expert in the law to ask Jesus which of the commandments in the law is the greatest. And Jesus answers by saying that the law can be summed up in one word: love. Love to God and love for neighbor. Well, after all this, Jesus goes on the offensive as he begins to critique the religious leaders by calling them hypocrites and blind guides. Jesus has no desire to become allies with the religious establishment. He has come to overthrow their authority. And after what Jesus has said today, he's either going to assume power or he must be killed. It's important for us to recognize that Jesus didn't come to get along with every other religious leader or teacher. Jesus came to bring the truth about how we can be made right with God. Not all roads lead to heaven, and Jesus came to pave the one true road that leads to God. Sometimes telling people about this one way won't make them happy with you, but it's the most loving thing to do. And it's exactly what Jesus did the entire way to the cross.